So recruiting timelines at Penn vary, and it depends on industry. So you might notice as you talk to students that their recruiting engagements or recruiting experiences are happening at different times of the year. So, but there is a lot of variability. Hiring happens all year, but there are busier seasons or busier times depending on the industry. So, for example, let's talk about general business, right? So finance and consulting, etc. So finance and consulting timelines are generally, could be maybe spring through early fall for full time. And yet for investment banking, for example, in particular, they're recruiting sophomores a year and a half in advance. So their sophomore spring starting in January. Yet private equity, for example, could be different. So even within the industry, there are different timelines based on job function and area. Government and education recruit pretty much all year for full-time and internships. Law, right, has a tech is pretty much midsummer to November. Yet more hard sciences, engineering, research, that would have a different timeline. So basically, there's a lot of variability in sort of recruiting timelines. And even then, larger companies are going to probably recruit earlier because they have, formalized internship programs, whereas smaller companies may be a little bit later, or, the summer or the season before, the internship happens. Another thing to think about are startups. So startups know that they can't compete against bigger companies, so they'll wait till the end of the semester. So maybe, April, May even, to recruit students. I think it's really important to share that they're never too late, right? I mean, there definitely are some industries with pretty tight timelines, but even within those industries, there are different companies that may recruit later or recruit just in time or things like that. So I think it's really important to help manage their stress in terms of that, because I think we call it the Wharton effect. I think students kind of feel that pressure of earlier engagement, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they have to do or engage in. So if they're academics are priority, then they should be priority, and they should be able to push off their internship search till the spring. But I think it's really important that you connect them with career services. Our advisors will know how, the different recruiting seasons. Will be able to help them find the resources and help them with networking and all that kind of things for their recruiting. I will say it is important to encourage students to do their research. So often students will see a deadline and they'll wait until the last day or the night before to apply. For a lot of companies, those deadlines are just, they're mostly rolling for their positions. So they're going to be, as soon as they get a resume, they're going to start looking and recruiting. So it's really important if students are interested in something that they just apply. Obviously, if they don't feel ready, they can wait. But in general, if they see something of interest, apply. Also important for them to network with alumni to get a sense of the industry and timelines and things like that. So I think it's a little bit of a understanding of a very high level understanding of recruiting trends and timelines for their industry, but not that they have to really know it, in a granular level. I think it's more about figuring out what they actually want to do and doing research on that, networking with folks in the industry and reaching out to career services for support. Thanks for being a career champion.